And we are back with Lisa Waters-Lane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are people talking about? And believe it or not, we do have a lot of folks. We have more questions now than I think we do during spring.
True.
In the spring, it's where is, do you have, I want 8 of these, where are they? And now it's, should I be watering still? What kind of tree would I, a lot of research, a lot of new homes, I notice. Going, people are looking. But they're not quite there yet, but they're almost. It's kind of welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Well, thank you.
You're
good
welcome.
To be here.
Really? How good?
It's so good.
We had our first Christmas party this week.
We did.
So I had that, and we've got another one. We got 2 next week. It's just it's in this. It's nice to be post-pandemic where you can actually gather.
True.
With friends and family.
It has been nice, but season has started, and it'll go quick.
It will. Well, what are we? We're 2 weeks left and we're done. It's Christmas. It's Hanukkah next week. It's, I don't know, all the other holidays that are out there.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Good.
What questions do we have?
Well, we do have questions, and they're our usual winter type questions.
Okay.
So Janet in Prescott Valley, she planted 5 of the red clusterberry cotoneasters this spring. So her question is, they've kind of turned a color, kind of a rusty brown color. And she wants to know, is that normal, something to be concerned about, or...
You gardeners, you're always in tune with your plants so much. You see the minus little change. You're like, oh, should I be worried? They do that. It's their winter color. So, so red clusterberry cotoneaster or Parnii cotoneaster, it's an evergreen shrub. Gets up well above head high, 8-10 feet tall, thick. We use them as a screen. It blocks the wind. It just is good at keeping dust down. It's a great plant and super tough. So in Prescott Valley, the antelope wouldn't eat it out there. Javelina, don't bother them. In town, it's the deer, elk. Do not bother cotoneaster. So it's a great plant for you. And it's drought hardy, doesn't get bugs. It's kind of low care. It's better than, I think, red tip botania, which does. If it starts turning color, it's under fertilized. This one, its winter color is a purple hue. It has a blue kind of green color to it during the growing season. And then this time of year has kind of a purpley tinge to it. And so the berries will hang on there right through winter. So thus red clusterberry has bright white flowers, clusters of them in the spring. And then they form and they keep those berries through winter. The birds will eat some of them, but it's got this pretty evergreen, but not always evergreen, blue-green. It's got evergreen, blue, purple off color. Or some plants turn purple, some turn gold, some turn blue, some they can have different colors. And so evergreen means it just doesn't lose its foliage in the winter. It can turn color some. So I would say another one, Nandina or heavenly bamboo is what the Californians call it. That one, when it's in the sun, it's evergreen, but when it's in the sun, it can be a red color, like bright red. Like it's got pretty foliage, so it's evergreen, but it's not green. It is flaming red. It's real pretty. In the shade, it can be more of a green, true green color. So it varies depending on where it's at and the cold it gets and that kind of stuff. But Janet, not to worry.
Not to worry.
Cotoneaster, we've got some right now in the greenhouse. You could plant them right now. They're doing the same thing, even here in the nursery. So very normal. And if you look around your neighborhood, same thing will be happening to them out there.
And you see it a lot with junipers and arborvitaes. That's another one that commonly
Mahonia, Oregon grape,
Mugo pine also is another one that kind of gets a little bit of
a hue
to it. So not to be worried.
Gives it character.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay. Well, our next question is from Robin in Prescott. They purchased a fat Albert spruce to use as a living tree. But her question is, how long can it stay in the bucket after Christmas? Or do you need to plant it right away, or do you got some time?
So if you're going to use a living tree, that is a landscape tree, you're going to bring it indoors and put presents underneath it. Just enjoy it for a few days there, up to about 7-10 days. Then you kind of want to get it back outdoors. This is an outdoor plant. It likes to be cold. And so take it outside. When you're bringing it outdoors, you transition it a little bit. So you put it next to let's say an overhang, a patio, a covered deck, covered driveway, so next to the house, south side of the house. Let it get used to that cold, because you condition it to be at 68, 70 degrees indoors. Right. Now it's got to get used to 22. Right. It can be a bit of a shock. So you let it transition for a few days, maybe a week, until it's outside. And once it gets transitioned, you can keep in the bucket till next summer if you wanted. Right. So really, ideally, if you could plant it before middle of March would be ideal, because it will start to grow into March, April. And if you could have it in the ground and it wakes up for spring and it's already in the ground, that's the best. But don't feel pressured. You don't have to get it in the ground. Water it once a week.
Especially in the container.
In the container. Yeah. It'll buy you as much time as you need. So not to worry, Robin, you're good to go. Don't feel pressured. Pick a nice day when you're bored and you want to work off all those Christmas bonbons. Go dig a hole and plant it then.
Christmas bonbons.
Is there even such a thing? My mother made rum balls when I was a kid. Oh my gosh. My mouth just watered thinking about it.
Doesn't even sound good.
They're delicious.
It's an acquired taste.
It's acquired taste, sure. Yeah.
Our next question is from Peggy in Prescott. She planted a peach tree this summer, followed our directions on our planting guide. Her landscape maintenance guy came by and said, "Oh no, it's not planted right. It's planted too high." Where she planted it even with the soil, and he told her, "No, you should plant that deeper." So her question is, who's right?
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, we've been doing this for 30 years. Your dad did it for 30 before you. It's a family business. We have planted literally tens, if not hundreds of thousands of plants. And this is what works in heavy clay soils for the mountains of Arizona. Your landscaper, hire them to cut, trim, prune, adjust irrigation, to sling rock. But don't have them advise you on plants, because they're blithering idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. That's a Phoenix. That's blithering.
Okay.
It's blithering. That's how you do it down in Phoenix. That's a desert guy. He's come up the hill because he couldn't make it down there. I don't know why. Didn't like the heat. But that's how you do it down there. You don't do that up here, or you will kill them during the monsoon season. So this was a really wet year. And if you'd had that in that divot, that dippy-do, it would have been overwatered. And pitted fruits are notorious for dying when they get too wet. Right. So it probably came through and did better for you because you planted on a very slight mound. So plants here, you plant at grade or a little tiny, to like 2-3 inches above, and have it kind of feather out. So you can't really see that. So I would say you did it really well. And if you're not sure, come talk to us. We can show you how to plant in your yard. We're really familiar with the entire Central Highlands, from Sedona to Seligman, and from, just everywhere in between here. Right. We can show you. We're really familiar with the dirt and how to grow things.
You can always take a picture of how it's planted and come in and talk to us. And like you said, picture's worth 1,000 words, and we can definitely help people get it correct. But you're right. They come from different places, and they're not always in tune with what works best here.
Right. I would call it not very smart, but okay, that could be not into. You're much more diplomatic than I am. Sometimes the mow and blow guys aren't the sharpest, but they're always learning. So they're, it's how you learn things. So, but if the plant looks healthy, Peggy, stop listening. Just keep fertilizing it, loving on it, and enjoy the peaches that are to come.
Hopefully we get
next
fruit
spring.
this year. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
All right, we are out of time, Babe. So back, Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back right after this.